My name is Linda Sessions, and this is Linda's Take on Time Management. I teach business and computer classes at WSU Tech in Wichita, Kansas. And one thing that a lot of my students have issues with is time management. So, what is time management? It is the process of organizing and planning how to divide your time between different activities. Many students have a lot going on in their lives already, and then they add in school. They need to learn how to plan their time so they can pass their classes. School will be over in a year or two, maybe more. The skills students learn to help them with time management will help them in their future later, whether they continue with education or enter the workforce. So let's take a look at a student in school today. How does it feel to be a college student and go to your first week of class? This is the first step in landing that dream job. You are as excited as a toddler, your hands reaching out to eagerly grasp the world around you. Every new experience is an adventure, and each new discovery holds the promise of boundless excitement. Your enthusiasm is unfiltered and untamed. You are so excited you feel like a toddler wearing a Superman t-shirt running down the street. You can't wait to get started. Then reality starts to step in. You realize school is a lot more than just going to class. Your children need help. You need to eat. Your friends need you. You have work obligations. Your spouse wants time. Your mom wants you to call. Forget about watching TV or going to movies and those hobbies you wanted to get done. There's just not enough time in the day to get everything done, including the all-important sleep time, not to mention time to study. So eventually, after a couple of weeks, you might end up looking like this. What did I get into? How am I going to survive? In this video, we are going to look at some tips on how you can survive your college career. We're going to look at your personal time to determine where you spend your time by creating a chart. We're going to create a personal schedule and look at some tips on how you can plan your schedule and consider all the time that's required when you're taking a class. And I'm going to offer some tips for students that work and or have a family. One thing I can assure you is that time management is critical both during school and in your professional career. Let's take a look at credit hours in college. In general, the rule for each credit hour you enroll in, you will spend 1 hour in class. In addition, you should be spending 1 to 2 additional hours outside of class each week per credit hour preparing and studying. So let's say you're taking a 3 credit hour English 101 class. This means that you will be spending a minimum of 3 hours in class during the week. In addition to those 3 hours in class, you should be spending a minimum of 3 to 6 hours working on your class. So that 3 credit hour class is going to take you a minimum of 6 to 9 hours per week if you want to pass. You might need 9 to 12 hours a week for your class if you have a huge paper due or if you struggle with the content. It might take less on some weeks. Sounds like a lot of time? It is. But when you understand the content and pass your exams, you will feel on top of the world. So what does your week look like? Here's a list of activities everyone does. How many hours do you spend in a week doing them? There are 7 hours in a week, 24 hours a day. How many hours do you sleep? What about eating or going to the grocery store? Cleaning up after dinner? How much time does it take you to get ready in the morning? Are you one of those people that can get up and take a shower and be out of the door in 30 minutes? Or does it take you a good hour to get moving in the morning? How much do you work each week? What about church or volunteer hours? How much time do you spend with your friends, with your family? What about by yourself? Do you spend time each week exercising on working on hobbies? How about social media? I can tell you when I get on social media, it's like 3 hours have gone in 2 minutes. I know that about myself, so I really limit when I am on social media. And you might have something else in your life that takes your time. Maybe you're a caretaker for your family or take others to doctor's appointments. Think about what you do each week, every day, and then add up the hours. Everyone in the world has 168 hours each week. Your neighbor, your classmates, your teachers, everyone has 168 hours. When you add up what your week looks like, how many hours did you use? I know some students that filled 200 hours in a week when they did this exercise. I can guarantee you they don't have 200 hours during a week. You only have 168. What did your week look like? Well, let's create a chart so that you can visually see what your week looks like. I think you might be surprised. Here's an idea using an Excel where you put the days of the week across the top and you put the time down the side. And then in each cell for every single day, you put down what you do. When are you sleeping? When are you eating? When are you studying? You could also create this in Word. You can do it on a blank sheet of paper. You don't have to use a computer if you're not comfortable with that. The idea is to look at your day from 12 a.m. all the way down to 11:59 p.m. I want you to have a visual representation of what your week looks like. It might take you a bit to fill this chart out, but I can guarantee you it will help you determine how you can get your study time and your sleep time in so that you can be successful with your classes. As you fill in your chart, you want to add in and identify your obligated time. You want to fill in the time for your classes. If it's an online class, go ahead and set aside a specific time for that class. Fill in the hours that you work. Fill in the time it takes you to get ready and to travel between work or to and from school, or if you must take your kids to daycare. Fill in any regular appointments that you have like church or family obligations. Don't forget to include time for your household cleaning and cooking. It's also important to establish a set time to go to sleep and to get up every single day at the same time. I had the opportunity to work with a sleep doctor several years ago, and he told me I was actually trying to go to bed too early. I'd be going to bed at 10 o'clock every night, and I'd toss and I'd turn, but I really wouldn't go to sleep until after midnight. By the time I went to sleep, I was so stressed out from trying to get to sleep that I wasn't sleeping very well. He told me not to go to bed at 10 o'clock, to either stay up later or maybe I needed to get up earlier. I was trying to get 8 hours of sleep a night. I don't need 8 hours of sleep. I only need 6 to 7. Maybe you're the same way. Maybe you don't need 8 hours, or maybe you do. Schedule your time so that you sleep and get that rest that your body needs and craves. After you've entered all of your obligated time, go back in and fill in any free spaces. Remember, you need to do 1 to 2 hours of studying for each credit hour of class you're taking, so put that study time down on your calendar. Be consistent when you study. Get into the habit of studying on specific days and times, just like a work schedule. Don't forget to schedule fun events too. Maybe you want to have a date night with your spouse or your family on Friday evening. If you plan it, you will more likely be able to participate in it. Plus, if you've already planned time to study on Saturday morning, then you're able to spend time with your family Friday night, knowing that you've already set aside time to study on Saturday. Once you have everything entered on your chart, go back and analyze your situation. Look at your chart. Do you have enough time available to study for all of your classes? If you find that you have way too much going on in your life and you can't find time to study each week, make an appointment to visit with your instructor, advisor, or mentor. They can help you review your schedule and look at different ways to adjust it so you can plan the time that you need to work, go to class, study, sleep, and everything else you need to do each week so that you can be a successful student. Maybe it isn't the right time for you to begin your academic career. Sometimes waiting a semester for your life to calm down is the best answer. If your schedule looks great, stick to it. Great job. Here are some tips on how to manage your time. Establish priorities. Not all tasks are essential. Make a prioritized list. Some tasks can wait. Some tasks can be delegated. Some tasks can be tossed. Know yourself. Schedule your highest priority tasks when you do your best work. If you're a morning person, then schedule your study time in the morning. If you're a night owl, schedule your study time at night after the kids go to bed. Just remember to schedule time for sleep. You need to be healthy. Stress in our lives reduces performance, and so does lack of sleep. If you're trying to study and you find yourself yawning and barely able to keep your eyes open, then you are not going to retain what you've been studying. When you sit down to study, try to walk or stretch between activities. This helps clear your mind and it resets your brain for new information. Try to be flexible. An adult learner needs a flexible mindset and a flexible schedule. Try to build some slack into your schedule to help manage unforeseen obstacles like kids that need your attention. Remember, life happens. Look for the in-between time during your day. You don't have to wait for big chunks of times to get things done. Small things can be done in the spaces between other commitments. Are you stuck in a traffic jam? Listen to your e-text. Waiting in the doctor's office? Review your notes. Be aware when it's survival time. Midterms and finals are not a time for moderation, so minor tasks should fall to the wayside, like vacuuming. As you prepare yourself for those important tests and papers, let your friends and families know that you have a huge project coming up so that they can give you the space that you need. That way, when you're finished with that test, you can celebrate. Acknowledge a job well done. Even if you don't know what grade you earned, when you complete a project or test, give yourself permission to be proud of your hard work and mark the progression towards your degree. You also need to know when to compromise. Some days there will not be enough time to get things done the way you want them to be done. When those times happen, trade in excellence for efficiency. Sometimes good enough must be good enough. If you have kids or a spouse or significant other, they can help you keep the house clean. They might not make the beds to your specific specifications, but if they pulled up the blankets and they don't have everything laying on the floor, call it a win and go on. You don't have to go back in and remake their bed. Remember, time management sometimes takes teamwork. One item I use to organize my time is a calendar. Whether you use a pen and paper style of calendar or a digital one, it will help you plan your time so that you're going to be able to get your studies done, have some time to relax, and overall be a better person. You can find calendars in daily formats, weekly formats, or monthly formats. Find the one that works best for you. I use a daily format calendar. It works best in my life to help me keep on top of my classes and of my different projects. It helps me plan things so that I don't forget. One time I didn't put a grandson's concert on my calendar, and I scheduled meetings at the same time. I ended up missing my grandson's concert. Now, as soon as I know a family event is taking place, I add it to my calendar. As soon as I know I have a meeting at work, I add it to my calendar. That way, I don't miss deadlines at work, and I don't miss family events and activities. I plan my work and my family time so that I can get everything done. So here are some tips on using a calendar. The very first thing you should do when you create your calendar is fill in important dates like your anniversary, birthdays, or any school events for your children. Think parent-teacher conferences or concerts. When you get your class syllabus, enter when big projects are due or test days. You might consider using different colors for different classes or to indicate family events. If you have a huge project that's due on October 16th and your mom's birthday is October 15th, you already know you're going to be busy on the 15th. You need to plan your study time so that you have the time between the 15th to work on the paper and complete it. That allows you to enjoy that activity on the 15th because you know you already have your homework done and are ready to turn it in. Don't fall into the my assignments are due Sunday, so I'll work on them on Saturday trap. What if your family member gets sick or your computer crashes? What if you're tired Saturday because you ended up working a double shift Friday? What if you have questions for your instructor? There won't be time to get feedback. Your work won't be your best work. Don't wait to start studying. Start early in the week. Find a system that works for you and stick with it. You'll find you have more time to get projects done when you plan for them, and your stress level will decrease. I promise that. If you work, avoid the temptation to stay up late studying. Remember, losing sleep is going to cause a downward spiral in your performance at both work and school. Don't skip on your sleep. If possible, adjust your sleep and work hours around the time that you have set up to study. I know that sometimes you can't adjust your work schedule. You need to be there when your employer tells you to be there. Plan your day accordingly and make sure that you plan time for your work, your classes, and studying. Study during breaks. You might want to consider taking online classes if you have a long commute or work hours that fluctuate a lot. I realize that online classes aren't for everyone, but this is an option that you might have. Use your planner every day so you don't miss deadlines. I review my planner on Sunday evenings before I go to bed to see what meetings or projects I have coming due during the next week. That way I don't miss deadlines. And consider listening to your e-texts on your commute to work or school. Try to be creative when you are looking at your study times. If you have a family, it's important to include family time in your schedule. Try to set up a special study space in your house. Maybe you're fortunate enough to have one room you can set aside for studying so that your family knows when you're in there not to bother you. Maybe you need to set up a corner in your house or a space at your table and establish a routine where your family knows that if you're sitting there studying, then they need to let you concentrate on studying. I know that's easier said than done, but do your best to try to have one space where you study. Do not study in bed. Your bed is where you sleep. Make sure you share your schedule with your family. If you have school-age children, they need to learn how to manage their time and have a study schedule as well as you. So try to have them study when you're studying as much as you can. If you have preschool-age kids, create a backpack for them that's filled with special books so they can study along with you. The only time they can get into that backpack is when they are studying, and that is when you're studying too. Try to have a backup for your child care. So if your child is ill and can't go to daycare or school, you already have a backup plan in place. That way you don't have to stress it when they become ill. Some of your classes require you to be there every day, or you might need to go in for a test. If you have something prepared in advance for these situations, then you won't need to stress it when it happens. You'll already know what you need to do. Whatever method you use for your time management and study skills, make sure you find one that works for you. Time management techniques are some of the most important skills that you can learn to help you ensure your success, both in the classroom and in the workforce. You will find as you plan your study time, you will have more time to spend with your family, more time to attend class, study, and do those things that you love to do. Time management is important. As a student, your goal is to pass your class. Time management skills will help you do just that. Plan your time now so that you can enjoy your future later. So what do you do to help you with your time management? Let me know in the comment section below. If you'd like to know when I post new videos, subscribe to my channel. As always, I hope you find some sunshine in your life. My name is Linda Sessions, and this has been Linda's Take on Time Management.